Hi, I'm Leander Cave, and you're watching the GTN show.
This is the GTN show. Welcome. With just one big race left to go this season, we're going to be looking ahead at the XTERRA World Championships, as well as covering last weekend's racing results.
We also have news from a recent study that may change the way that you run on a treadmill, as well as the GTN Pain Cave, Caption Competition, and more.
Well, we're obviously back in the set. I've just about recovered from my race, and Mark is back in good health, which is cool to see.
Yeah, we had a fantastic week out in Kona. We actually got to meet a lot of you out there, which is fantastic. And we got to experience Hawaii for the first time, the big island that everyone talks about. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it's one of those things in triathlon is iconic, and having got to race it, I see why it's so iconic now. I'm definitely having a bit of a break from training though, enjoying that, and actually got to see a little bit of the island, which was cool. But some amazing performances, which leads us on to our weekly poll.
Yeah, I mean, we were blown away by Patrick Lange's performance. He's getting ever so close to breaking that 8-hour mark, which is why we asked last week, will the 8-hour mark ever be broken by the men? And we have some results here for you.
We do, and it was a pretty large percent of you who said yes, it will. 97% are sure that it's going to be broken. And in the comments, actually, it's interesting to see there were some predictions as to who it might be, and we're yet to see Javier Gomez and Alistair Brownlee step up to the big distance. But many of you think they could be the ones to do the sub 8 hour in Kona.
This week, we are interested to find out which world title means the most to you guys. Is it the Ironman World Champion, the Ironman 70.3 World Champion, the ITU World Champion, XTERRA World Champion, which is coming up this weekend, or the ITU Long Distance World Champion? What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, that's a big choice to go from, but there's actually even more races out there than that. We're going to focus on those, and for me, two jump out. It's the ITU World Champs or the Ironman World Champs. And I think I'm slightly biased towards Ironman just because I've raced that distance. But outside of my sort of personal experience, I think it is the longer race. You can't do as many of them in a season. It's so specialist, that distance. So yeah, I'm going to go with Ironman. What about you?
I can understand that, and we did witness you suffer for 11 hours out in Hawaii. But no, in all seriousness, I do think Ironman 70.3 doesn't get enough credit for actually how tough it is. It's 4 hours flat out, and you see athletes specialising for that now. But again, maybe I'm a bit biased because that's what I specialised on, and I've never done an Ironman. But I did come from ITU racing, short distance, and that is pretty tough as well. And those guys also go to the Olympics. They are class athletes. I think my vote lies in the ITU short distance.
I think we'll have to ask you again when you've done a full Ironman, Mark. Well, we'd love to know what your thoughts are, so do vote in the poll above my head.
Well, this weekend we have the final Triathlon World Championships of the season, and all eyes head back to Hawaii, but this time to the island of Maui for the XTERRA World Champs. And we have quite a mix of athletes in both the men and women's pro fields, with ITU athletes, Ironman 70.3 athletes, and obviously the cross-country XTERRA specialists. And Heather, what's going to happen in the women's race?
Well, I mean, the one to beat has to be Flora Duffy. She's a 3 times winner out there, and she's recently crowned ITU World Champion. And she has managed to mix in some mountain bike training throughout her season, and that's, what is so key for the XTERRAs, the skills on the mountain bike. So, I mean, she's by far the one that everyone's going to be watching. But Leslie Patterson could give her a run for her money. She's going to be starting there for the 8th time, and out of 7 starts, she's actually had 4 second places and 2 wins, so pretty consistent on the island.
I know she was out for a bit because of Lyme disease, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, and I've heard she's back strong as well.
Yeah, so I mean, she could well be one to at least push Flora, potentially threaten her. Also, Laura Phillip, who's been specialising in 70.3 and got the bronze in Chattanooga. Since then, she's been moving her sights to the XTERRA and focusing on her mountain biking skills. So she's one to watch, along with Barbara Veros, who the last couple of years has been injured just before. She's been on the podium in the past, so she'll be looking to get back on there for sure. So it's looking a strong field on the women's side. What's it look like on the men's?
Well, we've got the top 7 finishers from last year competing again. So again, seriously competitive. And of those 7, we've also got 2 finishers from the men's pro field in Kona. We've got Ben Hoffman, who came 9th in Kona and actually 7th in Maui last year. Also, we've got Brandon Curry, who's going to be doubling up for the first time, and actually he's an XTERRA podium finisher in the past. But the big name we're looking out for is the defending champion, Mauricio Mendez, who has been in incredible shape. So he's definitely the strong favourite going in. But we've also got strong cyclist Ruben Ruzafa, who's he's actually led going on to the run last 4 occasions. He's won it in the past, but last year he was actually passed by Mendez and Ben Allen to finish 3rd, so he's definitely going to be trying to go for the win. So a really exciting race for this weekend.
Another race coming up this weekend is the Jurien Bay Clouds to Coast Triathlon, which is not quite an XTERRA, but it's extreme in its own way.
It's certainly unique. It starts with a skydive, you swim to shore, bike and then run. I'm certainly going to try and get my entry in for next year.
I think that's on the bucket list.
Okay, moving on from skydiving triathlons, and this study caught our eye. And let's face it, running can be a little bit uncomfortable at times, so we sometimes look for a bit of distraction. And if you're running on a treadmill, that distraction could be watching TV, but apparently it could be causing you injuries.
Yeah, you're right. According to the University of Nottingham-Trent and the University of Valencia, they have discovered that by running on a treadmill and looking at something like a TV in your gym, instead of looking naturally just ahead of you, changes the position and the style that you're running in, and it makes you higher, and then apparently you're lifting your feet higher as a result, and therefore more impact on your joints, such as your ankles and knees. And I mean, that makes sense, but I was also thinking it was going to just change your body position, make you more upright and mean more of a heel strike, but I guess both means more impact, so maybe not so good.
Well, do you think we should tell Lionel Sanders?
Well, maybe you did that one.
Well, it is an interesting topic because Lionel just came 2nd at the Ironman World Championships, and it's quite well known he does pretty much all his training indoors. 5 to 6 hour
insane.
turbo rides, 2 to 3 hour treadmill runs, and he's even got an endless pool now.
I know, I mean, it's not just him. Lucy Charles, another 2nd place at the Ironman World Champs, and she's a big advocate for indoor training, so it'd be interesting to see if they have a look at this research and maybe change where they position their TV. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, and they're not alone. There's a lot of professional triathletes that are big advocates of the indoor training. I mean, I guess there's a lot behind sort of the quality without being disrupted whilst training. Just get on with it, really. And Training Peaks have actually just put up Lionel's power file from the Ironman World Champs, where he held a normalised power of 313 watts for over 4 hours and then ran off really well. I mean,
impressive.
Yeah, that's enough to sell indoor training to me.
It is. Well, we'd love to know what you think and whether indoor training is for you. Do leave your comments in the section below. Last week we brought you the sad news that Tim Don and Matt Russell got knocked off their bikes at the Ironman World Championships in separate incidents. And at the time we knew that Tim Don was already recovering well, but since then we've heard that Matt Russell, even though he's rushed to hospital, he's actually going to be okay and he's making a speedy recovery. Yeah,
best wishes to both of them. But moving on, and actually staying with the Ironman World Championships, this one is for the triathlon geeks out there. That includes me. Every year, some experts in the industry head out to Hawaii to count all the bike brands and the equipment brands of the athletes that are competing in the Ironman World Champs.
Wow, that's a lot of counting. That does need quite a lot of patience. I think I'd leave that one to you, Mark.
Yeah, to be honest, I think I'll pass as well. But we do have a lot of results here for you, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to grab my laptop for this. And can I have a drum roll, please, Heather?
Okay.
All right, in with the bike brand. The top bike brand for another year running was Cervelo. And then on the wheels, it was Zip Wheels, again for another year running. Components went to Shimano. Pedals, Shimano as well. Power meters was Quark. Helmets, Rudy Project, which again, for another year running. Saddles, ISM. Aero bars, Profile Design, who also got front hydration as well. And then rear hydration went to XLab, as well as frame hydration to XLab.
Sounds like we're at the Oscars as you read out all the winners.
Well, I enjoyed it anyway. And that geeky bit of news concludes our triathlon news. Okay, now it's time for the Caption Competition. And last week we had quite a funny photo of Heather lying on the tarmac out in Hawaii. We had some great captions coming in. To kick things off, here's one from Super Napster. Firstly, he said, "Congratulations, Heather. Awesome result and awesome job." Their caption was, "That's what you call on-the-ground reporting."
I like it. There's a tough one this week. There's one more, and it is Andrew Tabra who says, "I may be a Kona finisher, but I'm still down to earth." Now, Andrew, you do win this week's caption competition, so please send in your details to get your free cap.
Yeah, just get in touch over Facebook. But this week's photo from the Ironman 70.3 World Champs was of Gomez on the podium drinking out of a shoe.
I guess it's one way to make sure no one steals your drink.
And we're looking forward to hearing your captions as well. So please leave them in the comments below.
And now for comments of the week, and we've chosen a couple that caught our eye. The first one is from the video of how to set up your hydration system, and Matt Dion says, "I go for chocolate milk between the bars and hard liquor behind the saddle." And I guess that's a quick way to get your recovery in. As soon as you finish training, you just take your chocolate milk out.
And the hard liquor to numb that pain from the race or the training.
Each to their own, Mark.
Yeah, well, on the Triathlon Jargon video, we had quite a few funny suggestions. And this one here from Steen Polistad, he said, "NA, never again." I could definitely relate to that from some training sessions and races.
Yeah, I think that's a useful one. I might suggest that to my coach. I can put it on my training program next time.
Well, please keep your comments coming in and just drop them in the comments below.
On to race news, and this time of the season it's a bit quieter, and then we've had an added cancellation from last weekend at New Orleans. The 70.3 there had to be cancelled due to bad weather, and they couldn't even manage to shorten the course, which was a shame.
Well, we did have Ironman 70.3 Miami, and actually Igor Amarelli, who placed 14th at the Ironman World Champs, was back racing just a week later, and he exited the swim with a minute deficit but turned that into a 3-minute lead off the bike and then took the win with a 5-minute lead over second. Second place went to Franz Loska, and then third was Paolo Roberto Muskel.
Well, on the women's side, it was Ellie Salthouse, who after several months out with an injury, she was delighted just to be back on the start lane and dominated, but it was more about consistent performance. So she was second in each individual discipline, the swim, the bike and the run, which gave her the overall win ahead of Angela Nairth of Canada, and then Sarah Lewis of Great Britain came third.
Now for GTN Pain Cave, where we ask you to send in photos of your own pain caves. And to kick things off, we have one here from Andrew Griffiths, and he's got his bike set up on his turbo, and most importantly, he has a GTN towel.
Most importantly, for sure. I do like the fact it's resting on a swivel armchair, so whether that's where he can sit his coach, if he's lucky enough to have his own coach.
Maybe his wife. Bit of time spent together whilst he's training.
One way.
Moving on, something less glamorous. We have one here from Paul Murphy, and to be honest, this is probably something I can relate with. I have to cram my turbo into a fairly tight space, so yeah, it sort of shows it's not always nice and pretty.
As long as it's practical.
And he's getting the job done.
And he's using, I think, it could be a freezer to put his laptop on top of. It's very much improvised. I like it.
Yeah. And finally, here's one from Charlie Pennington. He sent it in over Twitter, and we do actually know Charlie came 5th in Kona at the Ironman World Champs. So congratulations,
in his age
Charlie.
group, yeah, very good.
And we can see why. I mean, he's got a very impressive setup. Projector on the wall, and then another screen.
And then just quite a few bikes showing off for those in the corner there.
Yeah, and that's only the ones that we can see. So yeah. Fantastic. Please keep your GTN Pain Caves coming in over Facebook or over Twitter using the hashtag GTN Pain Cave.
With the XTERRA World Championships coming up this weekend, we thought we'd make it a bit of a mountain biking special for the triathlon zone. And we've picked out a few of our faves, including this one from Matt Barton, which was from the XTERRA Utah. And what's he on, Mark?
Well, it looks like a very clean transition. In fact, I can't actually see any run shoes, so perhaps it is a split transition, T1 and T2 in different locations. Very clean for an off-road triathlon anyway. And here's one from Doug Hall from the XTERRA European Champs. He sent this one in over Twitter. In fact, Doug was actually racing in the elite race, and it's a very clean looking bike. It's a titanium frame, very smart.
I like it.
Really nice. And then finally, moving on,
Oh, this is a little bit different. It is a mountain bike, but actually you probably can spot in the background there are a few road bikes. So this isn't an XTERRA triathlon, but we thought, as it's a mountain bike, we'll give it a shot. It's Els Koi, and basically very proud of the rainbow towel. Wow. It's all very colourful, that setup.
Yeah, even a picnic bag.
I like that.
Yeah, so probably not the quickest transition. Looks like she's there to make sure she's comfortable and ready to go. But yeah, please keep your transition zone photos coming in over Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, I'm Luke McKenzie, and this is the GTN show.
So I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who left such lovely messages. Before my race, I had loads of really encouraging good luck messages, wishing me well for the race. And to be honest, it did actually help, and I was thinking of all of those people watching it and following it when I was out there. And then also for the vlog that's just gone out, there's been some really lovely comments on that, and do keep them coming if you've not watched it yet.
Well, that is it for the GTN show. We're really looking forward to bringing you the results from the XTERRA World Championships, which are this weekend. And to see more videos from GTN, just click on the globe to subscribe.
And if you do want to watch that vlog I mentioned, just click down here.
And to see our trail running video, just click down here.